Hello, everyone. My name is Anatoly. I live currently in Somaliland, in Berbera, and I want to share my experience of a foreigner, real foreigner from Somalis, living in Somaliland, or more precisely, currently in Berbera. I thought my observations might be helpful or useful or interesting to a wider public than my family and several of my friends. So I decided to put this video on YouTube. This is actually a series of 3 videos about Berbera. I will talk about that. If there will be interest expressed in comments, I can do videos about other towns where I've been, but Hargeisa and Burho and some other places. But currently I live in Berbera. So my main interest and main knowledge about Somaliland is Berbera. Who am I? I was born in Soviet Union in St. Petersburg. I am half Russian, half Ukrainian by birth, but last 30 years or even more I lived in UK. I was professor math statistics in Cardiff University and maybe some other places. Recently I retired. My wife is Somali, from Somaliland. So we had an idea to, at least partially, she just retired as well, to partly retire in Somaliland. Not full time, of course, because for some reasons I will tell you. This is my third visit to Somaliland. So first visit was 15 years ago. Since then, country developed very much. Last year, I was kind of very impressed with changes. So that's why we thinking of partially retiring here. Life will show if that will be possible. In government websites in UK, in Europe, okay, there is Somalia, including Somaliland, is maybe #1 danger country for safety and stuff like that. So my observation so far, of course, you have to behave carefully and follow some rules which people follow. For example, don't wear shorts despite hot weather in the streets. For men, for women, you need to cover their head and stuff like that. But if you follow some basic rules, then I would say that the safety concerns by governments, European governments, are very much exaggerated. So far, my main safety problems were with dolphins, which I will talk in part 3. So the reasons, other reasons why I'm thinking as to partly move here is okay. Wonderful food, nice people, nice climate for compared to British winter or European winter. And it's winter here as well, but it's very mild and a beautiful beach, super beautiful beach. And maybe some other ones I will mention on the way of my talking. Okay, I'll start with my files. So I will go with my discussion by sharing my photos, which I did myself. I've done myself all the photos. And I will comment on my photos and my experience and my impressions. And then there will be, this is part 1. Part 1 will be, okay, all right, sorry. No politics, no history. Try to be not many emotions. Just describe what I see as a random foreigner, as a random European foreigner. Behind me is the Somali flag, of course. Somaliland, Somaliland flag. Currently, after the first recognition by Israel, there is lots of people with flags and T-shirts and stuff like that, which I will talk about later. Because Somaliland's are proud, and they have reasons to be proud of. Basically, the only reasonably peaceful country in the whole neighborhood. Okay, this part one will be some introduction, some general views, general discussions. Part two, which I will put, I hope, simultaneously with part one and part three, will be about people, about eating out, and our trip to Hot Spring. And favorite, nicest part is about Berbera Beach, Berbera Sea, Berbera birds and animals. If there will be interest to some other topics, I may talk about something else. So please make comments if you want me to talk about something in similar vein. Okay, part one, Berbera General. Okay, this is a map of Africa. Red dot is approximate location of Berbera. That's strategic location, etc., etc., etc. Look at the neighbors. Neighbors are what? Yemen. There's big wars there. Sudan, big war. South Sudan, very, very unstable. Main Somalia, lots of Somalians there because the main problematic area is this pirate area, which is called Puntland. On the next map you will see, and I will talk about that slightly. So who are our friends? Not our friends, friends of Somaliland. Ethiopia, but Ethiopia uses Berbera as a port a little bit, but Ethiopia didn't officially recognize Somaliland yet, but maybe they're expecting something. Now Israel, but Israel has their own reasons to recognize Somaliland. Then Taiwan. But Taiwan is not a proper country, a not recognized country. It's a proper country, but not recognized itself. Wales, from where I am from, Wales. Wales actually tries to push British government for recognizing Somaliland. British government doesn't want to. They have some the British reasons to do that, despite Somaliland was a former British colony, etc., etc., and developed something. Okay, I will talk at some point. And United Arab Emirates, which at the moment has troubles with Saudi Arabia, Cold War and stuff like that between them. So it's not very clear what will happen with these relations. Basically, everybody else is either neutral or enemy of Somaliland. But the main one is Puntland. So that's a map with, okay, Berbera is this kind of figure, red circle or something. There is 2-3 main towns. There's Hargeisa, which is capital, 1.5 million, approximately. Burhu, about 0.5 million. And Berbera is about 250,000. There is only one main road connecting big cities. It's Hargeisa, Berbera to Burhu. So if you want to go from Hargeisa to Burhu, there is, if you don't have private helicopter, the only way is to go to Berbera first and to go to Burhu. Burhu is agricultural center, all the sheep, camels and stuff like that. Hargeisa is the capital of the government and stuff. And Berbera, I will talk about that. So strategic location can be seen in this picture. So this is Burhu is Burao, it's the same thing. So Puntland is, as I said, the problematic area for Somaliland. So this is a disputed area, the brown one stripe. Recently, a couple of years ago, Puntland took it from Somaliland by force. I talked to quite a few soldiers who served on that border. I will tell stories in the second part. Some again, not many stories. And there is no big war, it's just a border conflict. But so the main reason why Puntland wants, okay, everybody wants territories nowadays, for some strange reason, but these territories where all mostly herders live, nomads, they call nomads or herders. They look after animals. What animals? Camels, goats, and sheep. That's the main animals. They grow these animals and then they transport to United Arab Emirates or some other Arab countries. And it's important through which port they are transporting animals. If they sell animals in Burho and go to Berbera and transport from Berbera, then Somaliland government gets taxes. Otherwise, they go to Puntland ports and pirate country. They have few ports there, which are mostly used by pirates. Okay, some other use as well. Then the taxes are received by Puntland government administration. So the game with Puntland is a little bit unfair because European unions and so-called civilized countries, they support Puntland because they to get rid of pirates, they paid lots of money to Puntland administration, so that a few years ago, about 5 years ago, the pirating slowed down significantly just because they paid the bribes basically to Puntland administration. So Puntland administration gets lots of support for their bad behavior, pirating, because they get lots of money. So Somaliland doesn't get any money. They only get what they you might hear the prayer in the next mosque, which I will show, but hopefully it doesn't disturb much. So that's a geographical map just to show that most of Somaliland is highlands. Highlands is 1 kilometer or more. That means it's a different climate, more water, not as hot in winter. In summer, in winter it's not hot in Berbera as well. In Berbera in winter is beautiful climate, and of course beautiful temperature water as well. In Burho and Kyrgyz it's a little bit cold at night this time. It's January now, 2026. And the further you go to Ethiopia, it's higher. The climate gets corresponding climate. So very, very nice climate actually. Okay, the main problem is water, rains in different areas. This year it was bad in Burho area. Okay, that's a map of Berbera. A yellow dot is where our house live. There will be discussion about our neighborhood. That's the next discussion. There is this Moscow village, which will be mentioned as well. There is there's port, big port. Airport is on the bottom left somewhere, and you cannot get in there. You cannot get into port because it's all secured and very much secured. So I cannot get many photos related to port or airport. Airport is very famous, built by Russians. It's more than 4 kilometers runway. It's one of the biggest in the world and reserved for Elon Musk shuttles and stuff like that. Port was built by Russia. Existed before, but basically built by Russians, renovated by United Arab Emirates. It's a quite modern port, but they now with Israel and stuff like that, they're talking about more innovations, making it really big port. And so what is Berbera renowned for? For geographical location, strategic, etc., controlling entrance to the Red Sea, port, I already mentioned, airport, already mentioned. Okay, Berbera beach is absolutely stunning, beautiful. There will be, part 3 will be mostly about Berbera beach. And okay, slightly less famous for the fish shops. Okay, we'll talk later on in this talk. Now some views. Okay, that's view from Damal Hotel window. That's to the port-ish. That's another view from the same window, slightly different angle. And that's some building, some port as well. Now Berbera. Berbera is a mixture of old buildings like that, or like that, or electricity poles like that, but which are not many. Usually it's a nice ones and proper ones and proper infrastructure. Or scaffolding like that, which not a single British builder will dare using for more than, I don't know, 1 meter, 2 meters. Looks extremely unsafe. And buildings like that. This is a building. It's not very new. It's about 10 years, maybe more, 12 years. It's the Bashil Bank, which is the most famous. And, until recently, it was the only way to transfer money to Somaliland or Somalia through the Bashil, but now there are some other ways. That's the same building from the different angle. That's a different bank, recent bank. But to get it's across the road, but to transfer money from Premier Bank, it's a chain of international chain opened in Somalia. To transfer money, you need to take cash, put it in the somewhere in the bank or in a bag or somewhere, and then across the road take it to Dabashu if you want to move between your two accounts. But banking discussion could be different because it could be different discussion and different if there will be interest. That's another building just not far away. And there are lots of very nicely looking buildings actually. So it's not only these rundown areas. There are rundown areas, of course, but it's slowly renovating. Roads are very nice, very tidy. At least I found it's tidier than in Cardiff in some places. Okay, so before I move to somewhere, rubbish collection. Rubbish collection, there is rubbish collection. The problem is that there is no time, but they come to next to our house, but we cannot take our black bag out of the house because if black bag stays out of next to our house, then in 15-20 minutes it will be taken and checked, and all the contents of the bag will be thrown in the streets. So we cannot take it out because, especially because I'm not the same color as normal people, and neighbors think that I'm super rich or something, and put into rubbish some expensive stuff. So that's a petrol station, very civilized. Another civilized, and there are lots of petrol stations. They all look civilized, almost all. So like that. That's one of the cars in Somaliland colors. Especially now, there is, as already mentioned, there is lots of Somaliland brownness of which they deserve. That's from our car photo that I'm a soldier with a gun, with a Kalashnikov, and all the bullets are there and stuff. It's all real. This is not the same man, it's a different man. It's a bad photo, but it was okay. You cannot easily take photos of people because they don't like it. So that's I did it. He didn't see me taking photo. This is a gun. This is just security officer in the bank in the Bashir. Okay. Next topic. Our rental area. So our area is called Standing Hyena. Standing Hyena. I mean, absolutely beautiful, stunning name for an area. Okay, there are some other areas like Moscow, India, Asia, Finland, and stuff like that. I will mention some of them. Our area is called Standing Hyena. I'll show you some photos of our rental area. So that's our house we rent. That's our car, which we brought from UK. It's rather old Toyota Hilux. Okay, we needed some repair. I'll talk about that a little bit later. That's car inside, packed for the night. and then we will close the gates because we are scared of hooligans and stuff like that. There are some hooligans. I will show them to you. That's another picture of the same. That's our neighbor girl. She likes us very much, always smiling, always very nice. That's a lady. Her mother, she has two children here. One is inside her. Typically, we see so many more children outside in the streets, many more than adults. Because why? Because quite many families, they have many women have 10 or more children, and men obviously have more because if many respectful men, they have several wives at the same time, so they have more children quite often. I know a few of them who talk. That's a view. It's obviously sunset in the neighborhood from our garden, from our gate. That's another view, similar. That's a stray dog. The dogs. I'm very much afraid of dogs, but I'm not afraid of local dogs because they're so quiet and so nicely behaved. Don't bark at you, don't attack you. They just suffer themselves, their own lives. That's a mosque, which you may have pray a little bit 5 minutes ago. Very nicely done. There are several prayers. During the day you hear just one, but they start 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:10 or 4:20, depends on different days. 5 o'clock big prayer, then you hear several mosques, and then there is some interference with the sound. And that's how they build. They build very quickly. That's one our neighbor 20 minutes away, 20 meters from us. They build houses very quickly. They like ants. These people, there you don't see it in the picture. There's between 10 and 15 people, and they basically in one day they build a wall. Forgot to put another picture. That's what everybody has on the fences. Fences is always with wire, with some other things to prevent from kids jumping in. Some other bad people. I don't know people, but the bad people are this kind of bad people. These are local hooligans. You cannot be very scared of them, but they come and ask for money, and okay, and then they threaten to damage your car. It's not very serious, but okay, there are slightly bigger ones, but not bigger than 112. So they get to the age of 12, 13, and then didn't hear any stories. There are no gangs except for this kind of children gang. But as I said, there are so many children, it's very difficult to control them for parents. They try. Okay, people there. Okay. My experience. Of course, I attract too much attention because of my color, but it's mostly positive attention, or just people just don't want to talk, or just practice English, or just say hello, or just very positive. Okay, some people obviously ask for some money, begin. Well, there are different type of beggars. I mean, there are some decent people really need some money, but like soldiers and stuff, or just beggars because they come from Ethiopia, from Yemen, from Somalis. Don't like these beggars because they come from troubled countries. Okay, with these people, with these hooligans, it's not difficult to deal with. It's just like a joke, but it's still a little bit unpleasant. And just in case we put the car inside. That's our local garden because my wife wants to build much bigger house, garden, and she started early to grow some plants. That's vegetables we buy in shops. They don't look pretty, but they are 100% organic, wonderful, cheap, and stuff like that. we buy it more or less in the same vegetable shop every time. I'll show that vegetable shop. That's the stuff we buy in the same shop. It's different stuff. It's Ukrainian sunflower oil and some Russian washing up liquid. This is a Russian spray for kitchen. It's all 100% Russian language everywhere, but we buy it in so wrong order. It's a back of that spray, 100% Russian. That's coffee. Coffee is Ethiopian. It's Arabic coffee made in Ethiopia. Absolutely wonderful. $6 a kilo. As it crosses this type of coffee, absolutely wonderful coffee, crosses border, goes to UK or Europe, it becomes at least 3 times more expensive. So in Sainsbury's, a kilo of coffee like that will never cost less than £15. So if you make a ratio, it's about 3 times. So that's not a bad profit for coffee traders when they take coffee from countries like Ethiopia and take it to so-called civilized countries. That's a washing machine we bought. You can see 2 departments. It's last time I used this kind of machine. That was 80s in Soviet Union. But in Africa, people use this. It's much easier. It's very, very basic, very primitive. They sell European ones, but nobody likes them because the system is not. They are too sensitive. These ones are so robust. So nice one. This is me with the Somaliland flag. Okay, next to us is a football stadium. That's a football roundabout. That's a stadium back. People are sitting on the walls. We went to football. We watched some Somali championship game between Hargeisa police and some other police. And that's some photos from there. It's a very beautiful view. You cannot see spectators because they are behind us. We were sitting in VIP lounge because of my color. Because of my color, I have lots of privileges actually, which I don't ask. The ticket costs slightly cheaper than Premier League. I don't know how much you pay. £100 here. You pay 50 cents. And quality of football, I wouldn't say it's a Premier League quality, but maybe it's a championship quality because, I'm not big specialist, but some people worked around very fast. Technique was very good for some people at least, and the tension was high. And when you see on YouTube all these best moments and stuff like that, you think best moments in the game are not worse than Premiership. The best moments maybe even better. So that's more. There are some mountains behind. Some more the same. That's a VIP launch. You can see some spectators behind here. There were lots of chanting for both teams and lots of fighting, and lots of emotions. There's some big bosses, coaches of both teams, and some big security chiefs and some local mayor and stuff like that, and me on the left. Okay, that was about neighborhood. Yeah, so more about rubbish. Rubbish is streets don't look. If I go back to the streets don't look dirty at all. Basically, they look cleaner than you see. There's not much dirt, very little. They look cleaner than in Cardiff. So, at least in the area, not far from where I live. Okay, Moscow village. Moscow village is built by Russians, obviously. Russians built what? Airport. Russians built port, but then renovated by United Arab Emirates. Russians built this village. It's called Moscow village. You can see kind of Russian-style houses. It's not exactly Khrushchev-type buildings, but it's not too dissimilar. White streets, rather clean, rather nice. Okay, that's also Russian village, Moscow village. That's proof that there is Moscow. You can see Moscow somewhere in SF, something Moscow. This is another Moscow. This is a hospital Russians built. They call it Russian hospital. It's in the Moscow village. It's still functioning. It's very tidy. Okay, it's not very big, of course, but still okay. So Russians were in Somalia and Somaliland not for a long time, about 10 years, since mid-60s till 1977, when Somalia started war against Ethiopia, and Brezhnev decided to support Ethiopia rather than Somalia. And Somalia expelled all Russians in one day. That's Finland area. Okay, one of the proofs that there is a Finland area. It's more industrial. In between Finland area and Russian area, there is a local prison. When I asked whom they keep in local prison, the person who was driving us said, "Oh, we only keep radicals there, the radicalists." And in places like that, I think it's a good idea, but maybe in all places. People with radical views. Radical views means kill all the people who disagree with you. Okay, shops and offices. Shops and offices are that's expensive suits and expensive shirts and expensive. All the shops and offices they look. Not all, of course. There are some basic ones, but in Berbera, in the high streets, they look tidy, nice, all clean, lots of stuff. Okay, not nearly as much as in so-called civilized countries, but all the basic stuff. They don't have some kind of products like I can't find swimming glasses for my swim or something because they're not interested in this kind of product, despite they live on the beach, but for some reason, because there is no tourism and they don't need swimming glasses. Well, that's a discussion for Berbera beach. And that's a Carpat's shop, also nice and tidy. That's a market. We sometimes buy meat. We usually eat fish because Berbera is a fish place, not meat place. But sometimes you would want some meat, fresh meat, of course. And it's tidy, nice and tidy. Okay, some flies, of course. That's offices, nice and tidy. This is tax office, and this is a bank, nice and tidy. This is a travel agency, nice and tidy. We've been to quite a few offices, and they're all nice and tidy. So that's shop, vegetable shop, not as nearly as nice and tidy because they have so many vegetables and so much stuff everywhere and in bags, and they have everything. I mean, everything, not everything, but everything you would want in big bags and small bags. And go 2-3 times a week, buy lots of, I don't know, watermelons and any vegetables you want. Okay, as I said, we brought a car. We needed to do some repairs. Okay, the car garages don't look that nice. That's typical, not bad one. That's an entrance to one of them. This is shows the level of English. When I try to explain them about the word smoke, they didn't really understand what's wrong with the second spelling of the word smoke. Blue smoke, white smoke, black smoke. So it shows the level of English, but I don't suppose there's no English. There are always people who speak English. Anyway, that's another from garage. That's also from a garage. So these two, they repair this kind of washing machines. We had a problem with air conditioning. We went to 6-7 garages and different. Somebody took us and they were not able. But the people who repaired our air conditioning, not for long, are these people from which repair this kind of washing machines. So, okay, fish shops. Fish shops is one of the beautiful things in Berbera. With attraction, there is so much fish. That's a discussion in Berbera beach and animals and stuff. So there is lots of fish shops. They all look like that. They are very small inside, um, very similar. So what do they have? They have 2, 3 freezers, deep freezers, and there is a fish inside, and fridge slash freezer, mostly freezer. So in the mornings they take fish from the fishermen. You can buy directly from fishermen. But if you manage, it's slightly cheaper, but then you need to cut the fish and get different fish. Tuna, we bought tuna. I don't show myself with tuna. So tuna, we bought what, $2 per kilo, $2 per kilogram. How can you imagine buying fish less than, I don't know, 20 pounds per kilo? It's not possible. But then also, when you buy it in UK or even Spain, it's not fresh. I mean, it's already frozen or half frozen or something. Here you buy just caught, just super fresh. And you buy different sizes. You can baby tuna, big tuna, and there is a kingfish. There is lots of different fish, any fish you want. This is the end of part 1. The part 2 will be where I will put it at the same time. I will talk about people. We'll show some pictures of people, some cafes, and a lot trip to hot spring. And my favorite part is part 3 about Berbera Beach, because this is one of the super attractions of Berbera, and about what kind of birds and animals you can see there. You want me to talk about some more philosophical or some other topics in Berbera or Somaliland in general, please write comments. In fact, I did look at travelers who travel to Somaliland. I mean, basically everything they say is so negative and so basically untrue. Because they've been there, they've been to Somaliland, I don't know, 2, 3 days, and then they pick up some bad things, and then to attract attention of people. And it's completely different when you live here, and I live here now. Okay, I forgot to say that I lived in many countries, many countries, because I traveled a lot because of my profession. I went to lots of conferences and stuff. I've seen lots of things. But basically, I think everything you think about Somaliland, and especially Berbera, you thought is not really true if you had your knowledge from travel blogs. Thank you for attention, and hope to see you in part 2 and part 3.